Welcome back to another episode of No Money Spent. In this video, we are going to go over the start of Season 2 in MLB the Show 24. We're going to touch on Team Affinity, the new programs, as well as the new team build that I'm using in ranked seasons, and what you should do with your stubs, as well as the other cards that you're getting early on in Season 2. Let's get into it. So, just to catch everyone up again, as you can see up in the top left, I've got a ton of stubs. And if you're new to the channel, if you're just following along for the first time, I don't work the market, not a World Series player.
You're embarrassing yourself, you geriatric
I was able to accrue all of these stubs by basically just playing the game and going about the collections in the way that I thought would best work out. So I was able to complete the live series collection before Season 2 dropped. For anyone that is new to the game, you're just picking it up, or you haven't completed the live series collection yet, don't do it right now. The biggest issue with starting to complete the collection now is that you are going to be paying the absolute highest price for a lot of these cards, simply because the live series cards are still currently higher than almost all of the programs and the cards that are coming out because of the reset that happens at the beginning of Season 2. We're back to low 90s, high 80 diamond content, so live series cards are among the best cards in the game. On top of that, Luis Castillo's live series captain boost is providing one of the biggest boosts to live series cards and making them relevant, which is great, but really bad for anyone that is trying to complete the live series collection. What I would recommend, I've talked about this quite often, is just collect all of the cards that you pack. You don't need to worry about flipping and all of that. You can make a lot of stubs, but I want to talk to just the casual player. You don't want to worry about that. You want to just play the game. You don't want to spend all of your time flipping and working on the market. I would just collect the cards that you get and continue to save up your stubs for the bigger pieces first. I always like to work and go after the most expensive first and then work in reverse order. The longer into Season 2 that we get, the cheaper that these live series cards are going to be. I would start to guess that we would see a reduction in cost around the All-Star break, beginning of June, middle of June, because that's when the overalls are going to take a big jump into the high 90s. Now, I've been grinding the XP path a little bit. I was able to take advantage of that Head Start program that came out at the beginning of Season 2, giving you your first wildcard spot at 60,000 XP. I took advantage a little bit of the double XP bonus weekend, but for the most part, I've just been playing the programs, a little bit of ranked seasons, as well as BR. I'm going to touch on that in a second. And I'm sitting at about 225,000 XP. The next huge unlock doesn't happen until 570,000 XP, because that's when you get your second wildcard slot, which is really going to open things up, because you can maybe bring back a Season 1 captain as well as another 99 that you've got, or maybe two 99 overall pitchers so that you're getting your energy back and you can continue rotating them in and out. It opens up a lot of possibilities, but if you were just someone that's playing the game casually, it's probably going to take you quite some time to get to 570,000 XP. All right, let's take a look at Team Affinity. The grind for Team Affinity is getting a little annoying. This is the biggest thing that the player base is going to have to get used to, is that when you have a season format, you are going to have to constantly be working towards something. We're not doing the carrot chase the whole year. I was able to do all the Team Affinity programs from Season 1, but now going back and doing it at the beginning of Season 2, obviously it's pretty tough on most of the player base because you're working towards high 80 overall player items that you know, after going through Season 1, are not going to be nearly as impactful for very long. I was able to complete the AL and NL East, and I did it by just completing the Conquest first. I think the Conquest maps, doing each of the divisions, so the East, Central, and West, is where you should start when it comes to attacking the offline content. Doing it against just the CPU is definitely the fastest, or in mini seasons, but I like the fact that you can get these done, get that initial boost, and you're just kind of stacking more stuff getting completed on top of the hidden rewards and all of that. That's what I would recommend doing first, completing each division by stacking your lineup with things that will help you complete that division. When it comes to the cards or the Team Affinity divisions that you want to go after first, it really doesn't matter nearly as much as the Chapter 3 would, because that's when the 99s are out. These cards will all be replaced pretty quickly, as we saw in Season 1, especially since a lot of the live series cards are far better than all of these. The ones that I would look for first are any of the pitchers. Ryan Yarbrough also offers up a unique ability that he is a Tops Now series item, which will help you work towards the first season award drop, because there aren't any Tops Now cards out that are Season 2 eligible. Ryan Yarbrough does count. And then what you do is you simply go into Conquest and you're getting Ks for every 10 that you get with a Season 2 eligible AL East player, or whatever division you're using. You get 7,500 Team Affinity points, but when you get a K with one of the bosses, 10 in total, you get another 10,000. So that means every time you use Yarborough and Conquest, you're getting 17,500 team affinity points every single time. They also added in a lot more moments, so you're getting about 15,000 team affinity points right off the rip there. And that's huge because it's really just a grind to get to the 60,000 when you can get your first boss. Now, the other programs, the Architects program that they did drop is actually really interesting because it really helps boost the captain's cards that came out, specifically the Rafael Devers build, which will boost power from both sides of the plate by 15 with anyone under 74 fielding. So you've got this Ronald Acuna who's going to basically have 100 power from both sides of the plate as well as 80 contact and a really good arm as well as 92 speed to make up for the lower fielding in the outfield. But Fernando Tatis is low-key gross because he's got max contact against lefties, 83 against righties at this stage isn't terrible, and then you've got power from both sides of the plate with that Devers build, which is huge. 99 arm from shortstop and 90 speed. This is actually a great free card that they put in this program. I really did like this program drop specifically. And again, same thing. When it comes to completing these moments and the different objectives that you need to get this program done, just throw the hitters into your lineup while you're completing the conquests, and you're just kind of creating this avalanche of completing stuff via the offline content. I want to talk about my lineup build. This has been the most fun I've had in ranked seasons so far this year, and it's by using one of the older cornerstone captains that came at launch of the game. The Season 1 Nolan Arenado got a big boost at the drop of Season 2, giving you 20 contact against righties and 15 power against lefties, as well as 15 batting clutch and 10 fielding for any hitter that has under 45 speed. So fielding, specifically the outfield, is pretty rough because when you combine the fact that they've got to have low speed, they usually have low fielding. But if you take a look at this Marcell Ozuna, I mean, look at the numbers that you get when you combined Nolan Arenado's captain bonus with the Season 2 Luis Castillo, which gives you plus 15 contact from both sides of the plate. Again, this is going to require 19 live series players on your team, but at launch of Season 2, it's very easy to get that if you've completed the live series collection. So as you can see, Marcell Ozuna is one of the best cards in the game. Aaron Judge is gross, as is Yordan Alvarez, an absolute cheat code. Corey Seager at second, again, almost 100s across the board. We've got Vladdy at first, Wilson Contreras with almost max contact, and then I've got Babe Ruth after completing the collection. On the bench right now, Kyle Tucker is also insane, and this JD Martinez, who is currently supercharged, is also wild. However, his speed and fielding is just so tough to use. And then I've got Josh Naylor as well. When it comes to my pitching staff, this is where it's kind of tough early on because you need so many live series cards in your lineup, and there isn't a ton of great cards if you're burning your wild card spot on a hitter. Having Babe Ruth is honestly a massive bonus. At launch of the season, you are getting a really big boost in value for completing the live series collection, which I would recommend everyone still do, even in Season 2. My bullpen features Mason Miller and Felix Bautista, again at launch. Great hits per 9 and Ks per 9. I've got the captain Joe Kelly and Daniel Bard, as well as Matt Strom, Emmanuel Clase, and then this Aroldis Chapman, which is just nasty at launch. You have to remember that when you've got pitchers that have got a massive hits per 9 and K per 9, and they're going up against high 80, low 90 cards that just don't have very high contact, these are just really fun cards to use. And he's also got that outlier 1 on his fastball. So when it comes to starting out, that is exactly where I would start, is trying to get Aroldis Chapman. The way that you get him is by collecting 30 Season 2 cards, and that will net you this 91 World Series Aroldis Chapman. Now, obviously, the Team Affinity is going to net you a ton of cards. I mean, just by completing Team Affinity, that's 30 cards right there, but you don't necessarily need to do that. And depending on your skill level, what I would actually recommend is trying to go through the BR program as quick as possible. The reason for that is because they offer a ton of lower diamond and gold cards that will count towards it, and you can get them pretty quickly. Obviously, this is going to depend on your skill level. Again, I am not a World Series player, but in BR, you can see that by just completing the missions and by playing, you're going to get multiple choice packs that will have you getting a ton of different diamonds early on, including this first one that's another 2 silver cards right here. By completing it all, you're getting around 10 to 12 diamonds that you can add in, but you don't really need to grind the whole thing, especially with the awards drop now. Now, when it comes to packs and what I'm doing with my stubs, I think this is one of the newest things that is going to happen with the community, simply because if you've completed the Live Series collection and you've seen how Season 1 went, there's just very little incentive to spend stubs at all until we get to 99. For example, I was lucky enough by completing some of the offline content, I was able to get Trey Turner in a pack. Now, I immediately sold him for 130,000 stubs, and he's only going to fall. Even though this card is going to remain great for quite some time because Trey Turner is always one of the better cards in the game, after Season 1, we've all seen that there will either be a better Trey Turner that will come out that's 99 overall, or just better cards in general that you will replace in your lineup. This Trey Turner card is going to fall in value quite a bit, probably by far more than half at some point, at which point you can pick it up then. Anytime that you get any of the high diamond headliners or any of the rare round cards, unless they are your favorite player or among your favorite players, I would sell them immediately. Now, as we know, how this is going to work, especially if you are going to play the game all year round, is that once Season 4 hits, which is right around December, the end of the game cycle, you're going to be able to use any card in your lineup throughout the entire game, which at that point is obviously going to be 99 overalls. So if you're going to play the entire year, I would save your stubs until we get to the end of the season cycle and then spend your stubs. Because remember that what's happening in the market is that everyone is chasing the new hotness. It's 100,000 for a 92 overall Trey Turner. It's going to be around 100 to 150,000 for a 99 overall Trey Turner, much like what we saw with Adley Rushman's 99 in Season 1. So what I'm doing with my stubs is that anytime one of my favorite players comes out, so for example, Jarren Duran, his Season 1 awards card came out. He is just one of my favorite players to watch, not just on the Red Sox, but in all of baseball. Him or Devers or another Tristan Casas card, anything like that, I will spend my stubs because you should always go after your favorite players and items. But other than that, guys, I would just slowly work towards completing the Live Series collection because you know that at some point at the beginning of Season 3, and throughout Season 2, you are still going to be able to use all of those Live Series cards throughout the entire time, and at Season 3, there will be another reset in the beginning of September, and those Live Series cards are going to be among the best in the game. And I do want to point out, Honus Wagner right here brings up an interesting market trend, and that is that the 99 overall cards that are expensive will continue to go up after the season is done, because the players, A, you can't obtain them anymore, and B, it's the hardcore players that are going to be here the whole year round that are going to use these 99s when everything opens up in Season 4. So again, so something to keep in mind. Another thing to remember, I brought this up in a prior video as well, these Hyper Series cards, the one that got you the special Core Edition Vladimir Guerrero cover card, these cards are always going to be impactful at the beginning of the season. So right now, for example, because they are among the higher overalls you can get in the game, but two, at the beginning of Season 3, when it resets once again, the same trend is going to continue. Now, I think the market kind of caught up. If you watch my prior video going into Season 2, I said you might want to stock up on these, or at least collect them if you want to be able to take advantage of, you know, the higher overalls at the launch of Season 2. But do not buy them now. They are going for around 45,000 stubs each. These will fall to under 20 as we get later on in the season because no one's going to want them. They need to release a pack that contains them, and they might do that and completely ruin all the value in them. But don't go after them now. And to be honest with you, I'd probably sell them now if you have any that are sellable, and then again buy them back once Season 2 gets near the end. Last thing I want to touch on is events. Now, the first event is kind of lackluster in the fact that Luis Robert, who has a great swing, at 90 overall, obviously is going to be replaced pretty quickly. He is going for about 30,000 stubs. If you have not completed the Live Series collection and you do play online, what I would recommend is this is where you can make a ton of stubs. So what you do is whenever a new event drops, this is where you put all of your time. Invest all of your time, get to your 20 wins, immediately sell the current 20 win card. So that right there would be about 30,000 stubs for you. At the beginning of the next event, there is going to be a rewind pack that you will get throughout completing the next event path at around, usually it's 12 to 15 wins, where you can just select the prior event 20 win card. That way you can just collect it, but you've made 30,000 stubs every time. It just be sure to take advantage of that. This is where I would spend my time if I did not have the Live Series completed just yet. So why don't we see how this team does in action? There are a lot of fun builds, including my guy Rafael Devers, but I gotta say, if you've got the Live Series complete, this one's a blast. Yeah, see you later, bro. Oh my god, that's still going. 495. See ya. All right, now we're starting to cook. Yo, the massive contact boost to both sides makes your PCI just gigantic. 503. Nah, not again. Oh my god. And it's out of... Okay. Oh my god, he did it. What a mistake, brother. Dude, that's what? 7 straight runs? I'm just not hitting well. Just kidding. Bang! And after 10 straight runs, that'll just about do it. There are actually a lot of builds at the beginning of Season 2. This one is one of my favorites, so if you've got the Live Series cards necessary, give it a shot. Let me know what you're using in the beginning of Season 2 in the comment section down below. See you next time.